All right, everybody, welcome back. Ready for another deep dive?
Absolutely ready to dive in.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Today, we're going on a culinary adventure.
Sounds delicious.
Yeah. We're going to be exploring Swahili-style pilau. Pilau, yes. And you know, I love a good rice dish.
Who doesn't?
I mean, like a really flavorful rice dish.
Oh, yeah.
And pilau, it's always seemed so, like, intimidating.
Yeah.
But also so delicious, and I really want to master it.
Well, you've picked a good one to really deep dive into.
Yeah.
Swahili pilau.
Yeah.
It's just so much more than just rice and meat, you know?
Right.
It's really all about building these, like, incredible layers of flavor.
Yeah, and speaking of flavor, like, just looking at this recipe,
Yes.
it is packed with spices.
It is.
I mean, we're talking cumin seeds, black peppercorns, cardamom pods, cloves, cinnamon stick, bay leaf.
My goodness.
It's like a whole spice rack in one pot.
It is, and you know, that's a huge part of what makes this dish
Yeah.
so special, you know? These spices, they're not just for flavor.
Right.
They tell a story,
All right.
you know? Think about the ancient spice trade routes
Right.
that connected East Africa to places like India,
Yeah.
Indonesia. You know, all of these connections are woven right into this dish.
It's like history in a bowl.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, well, before we get too lost in history,
Okay.
there is one ingredient I'm a little curious about.
Okay.
Ghee.
Ghee, yes.
So it's listed as optional in this recipe.
Okay.
But what exactly is it? And why is it so important?
Yeah, so ghee is basically clarified butter.
Okay.
It's made by simmering butter and removing the milk solids,
Oh,
which gives it a higher smoke point
Okay.
and a much richer, nuttier flavor.
Interesting.
And it's really prized in a lot of cuisines, especially in East Africa,
Oh.
South Asia,
Yeah.
just for the depth it adds.
Okay, that makes sense. And speaking of depth,
Yeah.
the recipe keeps mentioning these golden onions as being like a secret weapon.
Right.
What's the deal with that? Why not just
Yeah.
regular chopped onions?
So golden onions, they're key to unlocking a whole new level of flavor through something called the Maillard reaction.
Oh, I've heard of that.
When you state brown onions,
Yeah.
the sugars and amino acids in the onions react at high heat,
Yeah.
creating hundreds of new flavor compounds.
Wow.
You'll know your onions are ready when they turn this like deep golden brown color.
Okay.
And they smell incredibly fragrant.
Oh, I bet.
That's the magic happening right there.
It's like science meets deliciousness.
Yes.
That's awesome. So the recipe gives us options on the protein front.
Okay.
Beef or chicken?
Yeah.
Any thoughts on which one?
You know, honestly, both work beautifully.
Okay.
Beef brings a heartier, more robust flavor,
Okay.
while chicken keeps things a little lighter.
Makes sense.
And for anyone listening who's vegetarian or vegan,
Yes.
you can easily swap in, you know, firm tofu,
Yeah.
or even hearty vegetables like eggplant,
Right.
mushrooms.
Yeah.
Very versatile.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, so let's get down to the cooking process.
Mhm.
What are the key things we need to remember to nail this pilau?
Well, first off, browning the meat separately is crucial.
Okay.
This does two things. It creates deeper flavor in the meat itself,
Okay.
and it makes sure that the meat stays tender and doesn't overcook later on.
Okay, that makes total sense.
Yeah.
And then it's time for the spice party, right?
Yes. And here's a pro tip.
Okay.
Before you add those spices to the pot,
Yeah.
take a minute to just lightly toast the whole spices.
Interesting.
This really awakens their oils and intensifies those aromas,
I bet.
making the dish even more fragrant.
Oh, I bet my kitchen is going to smell amazing
It will.
while this is cooking.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we toast the spices and then we simmer everything together.
Exactly. Simmering is where the magic really happens.
Okay.
It allows those spices to infuse their flavors into the
Yes.
meat and the sauce,
Yeah.
creating that harmonious blend
Yeah.
that makes pilau so special.
It's all coming together now. Okay, I'm taking notes. Now, the recipe also mentions soaking the rice.
Yes.
Why is that step so important?
Okay.
I usually just, like, cook rice straight from the bag.
So soaking the rice is a game changer for texture.
Okay.
It helps remove excess starch,
Oh.
which prevents the rice from becoming mushy.
Right.
It ensures those like nice, fluffy, separate grains
Right.
that you want in a good pilau.
Right, no one wants mushy rice.
Nobody wants mushy rice.
Yeah, okay. So soak the rice, brown the meat, simmer those spices.
Yes.
It's all about building flavor at every stage.
It is.
But beyond the recipe itself, I'm curious.
Yeah.
Where does pilau fit into Swahili culture? Is it a special occasion dish? Everyday food?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
You know, pilau really embodies the warmth and generosity of Swahili hospitality.
I like.
It's often served at celebrations,
Okay.
feasts, weddings,
I
but
think-
it can also be a really comforting, flavorful, everyday meal.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the ultimate symbol of coming together
I love that.
and sharing a delicious meal.
And of course, no good pilau is complete without its sidekick.
Right.
The recipe recommends serving this with kachumbari.
Kachumbari.
Can you give us the lowdown on what that is?
Kachumbari, it's like a burst of freshness
Okay.
that cuts through the richness of the pilau.
Okay.
It's a really vibrant, tangy salad made with fresh tomatoes, onions, cilantro,
Nice.
and a squeeze of lime juice.
Ooh.
Think of it like a salsa,
Okay.
but with an East African twist.
All right, so before we wrap up, let's recap what we learned today.
All right.
Spices are the heart and soul of Swahili pilau.
Absolutely.
Browning those onions is key.
Yes.
And the cooking process, it's all about building those layers
There's the flavor.
of incredible flavor.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
And remember, you can always experiment
Yeah.
with different meats,
Yeah.
vegetables,
Uh-huh.
different spice blends
Absolutely.
to create your own signature version.
Yes. Your own twist on it.
Ooh, I love that challenge. If any of you out there decide to try making Swahili pilau,
Yes.
we want to see your culinary masterpieces.
Please share.
Yeah, share your photos with us and let us know how your pilau journey goes.
Absolutely. Yeah. And bon appetit.
Happy cooking.
Enjoy.
All right, thanks for joining us for another deep dive.
Yes. Thank you.
We'll see you next time.
See you later now.